Okay, on to video 2 of tips and tricks for bringing your puppy home. These are things that I like to tell people when they come and meet us and do our final checkout. I'll have to refer to my notes. So bear with me. Let's see here. Well, first things first, I wanted to let you know I do need a signature on your microchip form. I will have it all fill it out for you, and you can verify that I have everything right based on the information that you sent me on the puppy information sheet that we just recently had you fill out. So we will need to get that signature. Don't let me forget. One of the tips I like to tell people is you're going to want to be mindful of their water consumption. Bernese Mountain Dogs are like water buffaloes or like camels. They love to have water. They love to drink tons and tons of water. So the best way when you're potty training is to keep the water bowls up until mealtime, and in between you can definitely you can offer them water in between after they've been playing or whenever you want to, but you need to be mindful of that and know exactly when they're drinking water and when it's back up on the counter, because then you'll know when they have to go to the bathroom. It'll just make things a lot more successful as far as potty training goes. That does not mean limit their water, especially in the summer, but at least you'll know, you can definitely offer it to them multiple times. You just need to know when they're having it and then when they do not have access to it. If you leave the water bowls down all the time, they will sneak over and get tiny, tiny drinks, and then you'll have tiny, tiny accidents all over the place every 5 seconds. And it's going to drive you absolutely crazy. The other thing I mentioned is to try to do your dinner meal like 3 hours before bedtime. I'm sorry, take the water away 3 hours before bedtime and try to feed your last meal of the day earlier in the evening. You're going to want to try to feed 3 meals a day, whatever schedule works for you. Doesn't have to be a certain set time or however many hours equally apart, doesn't matter. They had a schedule here, but it was not ever this exact same every day either. So a lot of people, like, if you're going to work and you can do morning and then noon, and then hopefully you'll get home by like 4 or 5. If not, you just do what you got to do to make it work. If you don't come home during the day and you do early in the morning and then you're home by like 3, give them a small meal at 3 and then another small meal at like 5:30 or something, or 6. So just break it up the best you can. 3 small meals a day. It's better for the digestion. It's easier for them to digest and process, and you'll have less issues with any risk of bloat or tummy upset or diarrhea or whatever. When they consume too much food at once, it can cause problems. So I would offer about a cup of food at each feeding for now. Whatever the puppy eats in 15 minutes then you just pick up the bowl and that's that. So you want to get your puppy in the habit of knowing when mealtime is, that we don't get to graze all day. We eat, we're done, on to the next thing. Totally fine if you want to do some sort of enrichment at breakfast or any of the meal times where it's going to take them longer to eat the food because they're working on a puzzle or something with their kibble. That's totally different. That's totally fine. It can take them longer than that, but you just want to avoid letting a dog graze all day long. Definitely never free feed a Bernese Mountain Dog. They will eat until they're sick, or they will get really fat really quickly, and that is the last thing you want for their joints. We already talked about when the appetite, or to increase the food as the puppy grows. Keep an eye on the weight. When you bring your puppies home, they should really only need to be getting up once a night, if that. They are probably going to get up a few times because they're lonely at first. They're not, they don't have any litter mates with them. Sometimes you could put a stuffed toy, like a stuffed animal in there so that they can snuggle with it. That kind of helps too, because they do like to snuggle on each other. But if you want to make sure that when the puppy starts to whimper, you let it go a little long. Don't jump up the first second you hear a little whimper or you hear a little bit of crying. Let it go for a little bit and see what's going on. A lot of times the puppy will go back to bed, or you have to just kind of let them try to self-soothe just like a baby. If they're really carrying on they probably have to go to the bathroom. So let them out, go potty, and then right back in the kennel. Um, some of the things you're going to want to practice with your puppies with this kennel is some kennel games. So way before you even put your puppy in the kennel to go to bed at night, throughout the day you're going to want to be doing some fun things in the kennel. So have all the doors open. If you have 2 doors or just 1 door or whatever, throw some super duper tasty treats, smelly stuff, and or toys. Just get the puppy engaged and going in and out of the kennel without ever being shut in there. You can feed them a meal in there if you want with the doors open. So let's make it a good place before they're actually put in there and made to stay in there. That'll and continue that practice so that every time they go in the kennel, it's not because you're shutting them in there and leaving them for long term. That way, we can create some positive experiences in there, and they'll learn to like the kennel. Don't give up on kennel training. It's a really important thing to have. Whenever they have to go to the groomer, if they have to go to the vet and stay for an extended stay for whatever a procedure, you don't want your puppy to not be kennel trained, because that's just going to create anxiety later down in life when they may need to use a kennel for some reason. A lot of people think, well, I don't need to use it at home, but you do have to have it at the groomer, and you do have to have it at other places, and so you definitely want them to get used to that. I've had dogs that were very difficult to kennel train for a while, and all of a sudden at whatever age they just click out of it and they end up really loving their kennel. And so you just need to, the ups and downs and ins and outs of it, you'll get through it, and you'll end up realizing that I actually really prefer to have a kennel. Another good thing for puppies, when you are trying to potty train, you can let them have a skinny long leash with the handle cut off of it. You just cut off the handle and then kind of burn the fibers so they melt together and they don't fray. This way, if the puppies rip roaring around the house, you can grab the leash if they're about to get into something. You can grab the leash if they're about to go potty. Then just grab the leash and interrupt them. Just and grab them, pick them up quickly, and get them outside. And you're not scolding. You're just interrupting what they're doing, and usually just kind of startling them enough to stop them from going potty, and just picking them up and getting them in the right spot, and then rewarding them for pottying outside. So not a punishment at all. It's just hold on, and run over there, scoop them up. But the leash is a really good thing if you're struggling with potty training. If the puppy keeps sneaking off and peeing, it's usually where we fall short, is keeping a really close eye on that puppy. They definitely have cues for when they're going potty. So you have to just be mindful of that. Some of them are hard because, they're sniffing around, and sometimes they're just sniffing around in a spot to lay down, to find a spot to lay down to rest for a while. But other times it looks exactly like when they got to go potty. So you will learn your dog's cues, but you have to be really keeping them close to you. So if you're having a hard time with that and you're just having accidents left and right, first of all, remember the water thing. Second of all, you need to be keeping the puppy closer to you. So definitely in the same room as you. And if you have to, you may have to tie that leash around your belt loop and have that puppy just be your little shadow literally for a few days until you are, in better sync of the potty training thing. The more accidents you have, the harder this is going to be. So setting your puppy up for success is the best way to go. If you have to set a timer every 20 minutes and take your puppy out, and then extend that to a half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, as the puppy grows and as it gets better about holding the bladder, then that's what you can do. The other thing I want to mention is, if you let the puppy outside and it doesn't go potty, then you really have to keep super close watch for the next 5-10 minutes, get it back out and till you have a successful potty. And then the puppy gets free roam, somewhat free roam, more free time, more free space to play. Let's see. Then I was going to tell you that some people are talking about puppy classes, and we talked in the last video about definitely need to make sure the second vaccine is done before you're getting into any sort of environment where there's multiple puppies. That goes the same for if you're doing socializing with other dogs and puppies, just socially. You really want to make sure that the dogs you're socializing with are all up to date on their shots. It's almost better for your puppy to be playing with a older dog that has had many series of shots, and then make sure they are up to date. But puppy to puppy play, oh, I got a brand new puppy, you got a brand new puppy, that's about the worst thing you can do, because you don't know where that puppy's coming from. They don't know where your puppy's coming from. We spoke earlier about the Giardia thing. That is definitely something that you need to make sure 100% is cleared up before you bring in your puppy anywhere, really, to anybody's house that has other dogs, to any parks, to any training classes, any outings, because the stool can, if there's any traces of the stool in the grass or anywhere else, you can be spreading coccidia to other people on their shoes or other dogs by sniffing it and stuff like that. So, hopefully we'll have it all knocked out, no problem, before you go home or close to, but every once in a while, because puppies are so susceptible and their immune systems aren't top notch yet, they can get reinfected. So we have to make sure we're doing due diligence and we're not, we're being responsible and not spreading that, making sure it's completely cleared up before you're having any of those interactions. The main things you should be worried about right off the bat is not so much obedience, but you're going to spend a lot of time on potty training, and you're going to be doing a lot of socializing and bonding with your puppy, really. Learning the ins and outs, learning how, what their behaviors are, starting right off the bat to apply some rules and some expectations. Just like a child, you're going to want to let them know what behaviors you like and which ones you don't like, and that happens right away. The more you let them have leeway and think, oh, they're just so cute, they're a baby and they're fuzzy and it's fine, the harder it's going to be to establish some rules and boundaries, and later on down the road, even a week or two down the road. So you want to just start off right away. It doesn't have to be nasty or tough or rough. It just needs to be assertive and clear. If you talk to any trainer, you will hear from them a million times over that dogs thrive on rules and boundaries. They need and want and feel much more comfortable in their own skin and in their environment when they have rules and boundaries. The way to create an unsure, neurotic, scared, reactive dog is to not let them know what your expectations are, because they will end up having no clue and being paranoid and just really unhappy, not knowing what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. So take it from me. I've dealt with it, and I've had to take back dogs and puppies that they did not do that with, and it's sad that it didn't work out for the families, but the dogs are not bad dogs at all. They come in here, and I don't even really need to do much of anything at all. They just fall right into line with my pack, and they realize that there's just expectations, and they happily oblige, and they are 100% confident and easy to rehome. So we definitely don't want to be down that road. But if you guys are ever running into any trouble and have any complications whatsoever with training or behavior or food or anything, please let me know right away. I don't want you to suffer and struggle with any sort of problem. I have a lot of years of experience in all sorts of different areas, and if I don't have an answer for you, I will find one. So that is my job, and I take it very seriously. So I am definitely here to help, no matter when it is. It could be Christmas morning, I don't care. Give me a call if you need anything. So I think that is about it. That wraps it up. So please feel free to post questions on the Facebook page, because that way everybody can see the questions and also get the answers that they're looking for. I'm sure there will be some things I've missed. So also, when you're here, it is going to be a pretty quick in and out. Give you your puppy, give you your folder. Shouldn't take too long at all, because I know you guys will be excited to get home with these babies. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel more than happy to ask them at that time as well. I'm not going to be turning anybody away for any sort of advice or help. So I hope this message finds you all well, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks.